本日はお忙しい中、イスラエルEdTechウェビナーにご参加いただきまして、誠にありがとうございます。司会のイスラエル大使館経済部、根本と申します。本ウェビナーはイスラエル大使館経済部、そしてイスラエルエクスポートインスティテュートの協力のもと、日本、イスラエルのEdTech分野での現状をご紹介するとともに、AI 技術を用いた効果的な学習メソッドや人材教育から生まれたソリューションを紹介することで、日本の組織企業とのコラボレーションを具体的に促進することを目的としています。質疑応答に関して皆様にお願いがございます。イスラエル企業へのご質問に関しましては、Zoom 上の Q&A 機能を使用します。イスラエル企業の名前を最初に明記の上、ご質問事項を英語にてお書きください。パネルディスカッション、各質問についてはイスラエル企業より直接お答えさせていただきます。チャット機能には質問を書き込まないようにお願いいたします。また、同時通訳につきましては、Zoom 画面下の地球儀のアイコンをクリックし、言語を選択してください。オリジナル音声を希望の方は、機能をオフにしてください。それではこれよりセミナーを開始するにあたりまして、ダニエル・コルバー駐日イスラエル大使館経済公使から開会挨拶がございます。ダニエルさん、よろしくお願いします。
こんにちは。皆さん、こんにちは。Thank you, Suguru-san. It's a great pleasure to open this webinar, the first one that we are doing on education technologies. And I would like to thank all of you for joining the event. I would like to thank Ms.Bracha from the Israeli Export Institute, and all the Israeli companies that are with us today for their time. We hope that this event will be interesting for all of us, and I'm sure it will be. This time featuring technologies for a better education. And I think with digital transformation accelerating in Japan, especially with the pandemic and people working from home, there's nothing more important than education, and nothing more important than technology to give better education to the next generations. So we are very happy that we were able to select 5 very interesting Israeli companies and give them exposure and hopefully generate some business opportunities. We are the Economic and Trade Mission of Israel and Japan, offices in Tokyo and Osaka. And this is our goal for those who are not familiar with us, to connect Israel and Japan and generate business and collaboration. So we are very thankful again for the collaboration. Really looking forward to all the presentations, and thank you. ありがとうございました。
ダニエルさん、ありがとうございました。それでは基調講演に移らせていただきたいと思います。まずはじめにイスラエルエクスポートインスティテュートのブラハ・ラパポートさん、Education Technology in Israel 2022についてお話がございます。それではブラハさん、よろしくお願いします。Floor is yours, ブラハさん。
Hello, everyone. It is an absolute pleasure to be here today. So I'd really like to thank the Japan Trade Office for this opportunity and for working together. It is very exciting for us to bring together this first time event, and I hope that after my presentation, you'll have a better understanding of what exists in Israel and what it looks like in terms of the EdTech sector. So really today we'll talk about education technology in Israel in 2022. So just a little bit of an overview of the Israel Export Institute. We are actually a semi-governmental body that works with the public and private sectors in Israel. And we, in addition to the trade office in Japan, promote Israel's business and assist them in connecting to communities in foreign markets. Lastly, we provide several services that help businesses and companies learn how to come to those markets, how to negotiate, how to form collaboration and business opportunities overseas. So really the toolbox we provide for companies here can be consulting overseas, it can be marketing, it can give more of a background research on what the market demands are, what the trends are, and how to adapt your business strategy and your marketing approach to partners overseas. We provide mentoring, and of course, we assist with business opportunities. We assist international companies with real world problems and connecting to technologies and solutions that can provide further solutions for them in the future. So really a short overview of the EdTech. When we look at education technology, it is something that has been on the rise in the last few years. And looking at COVID, it is a very significant amplifier of the implementation of education technology. So if we look at the market value in 2021, it was around 254 billion. And in 2027, it is assumed to grow to $605 billion. This meaning there is going to be a sharp surge in the implementation of education technology in the demand, and especially in Japan, as Daniel has mentioned. When people are learning remotely or staying at home, there is a need to help students focus and learn in the most optimal way. And education technology is the solution for that. And the second very strong future trend that we see is a very strong shift from traditional learning in the classroom to more interactive, digitized approach to education. Students want to feel more immersed in their learning experiences, and they want to gain knowledge in various ways. So when we look overall at the market globally, we see three main territories that have decided to really take on more education technologies. Looking at the North Americas, we can see that there is more focus on offline learning models. So also in the classroom, how do we adapt education technology? How do we involve it in teaching new content and educational theories? The second thing we see is the advancement of technological infrastructure. So every educational, every educational body has some sort of infrastructure that holds their information of their students, of their content, of managing their assets remotely. And this is where they are looking to implement more strong and sustainable technologies. And lastly is the adoption of online learning. So we are seeing, especially in COVID, that more universities are enabling students to study overseas. More universities are creating online courses, making it accessible to anyone. Borders don't matter anymore. If we look at Harvard or Yale, in the top Ivy League schools, they are providing full MBA degrees online. When we look at the APAC region, we can really see that there has been a strong adoption of EdTech technologies in mobile apps. The schools and the educational system is understanding that instead of taking the mobile and putting it aside and saying this is a distraction from learning, we need to take the mobile and use it to our advantage, use it to engage with our students, to learn about our students through the mobile app and make it more easy for them to keep track of their classes, to participate in class, etc. And lastly, looking at Latin America, we can see that there's a very strong adoption in Mexico, Chile, Argentina, Colombia, and Brazil is one of the leading EdTech hubs in the world. Some of almost over 60% of the EdTech startup list come from startups based in Brazil. And really they're focusing on K-12 technologies, workforce learning, and system management for employees. So when we look at the ecosystem in Israel, there are some of 280 companies in the EdTech sector. Soon I'll tell you exactly how they divide in terms of their development, in terms of how well founded they are. Some of what are 50% are in their initial stage of development, meaning they're defined as a startup, they're still growing, there's proof of concepts, there's seed startups. So we're seeing a hub of innovation that's really in its initial stages. In 2021, there were 4 exits that were total of 230 million for education technology solutions. And lastly, $150 million were invested in education technologies in Israel in the last year. So really, when we look overall at the ecosystem, we can see that 15% are in seed, 37% are in R&D, something like 5% are in revenue growth, and 43% are in their initial revenues phase. A majority of them are internet solutions, and the second focus that EdTech solutions have are more in the communication interaction for students in the classroom. So when we look at education, we're seeing 2 main users in the education technology. The first is the student, and that is the needs that students have in this century, in this decade.
学生はこの世紀ではより共同的なそしてインタラクティブな形で
We're seeing that students need access all the time to their learning materials. Students, especially when they work remotely, will write papers late at night, will have team or group assignments late at night. So having that accessibility, also to speak to your professor in different hours, to consult about a paper, to work on different assignments, all of those things need to become more accessible and easy to work on. The third thing we see is really flipping the classroom into a place that is playful, that is imaginative, that is creative, and taking it from something where you read from a textbook to something that is more immersive in the experience. If it's smart whiteboards that have transformed the way students educate, if it's certain technologies that help students collaborate or communicate with one another, or share notes. So we're really seeing this shift from a traditional classroom to something that is different and more interactive and based on experience. The fourth focus is really personalized educational experience. Today's students are looking to feel seen, to feel understood. And by gathering data and gathering what is happening in the classroom, teachers can start to understand what is working and what is not working, what is optimal for their student, and what is making them feel behind. And this is also a very significant solution that is needed. And lastly, and this is one of the biggest challenges in also teaching remotely, is having content that is attention grabbing and helping teachers, instructors, and educators understand that what they're teaching is going through to the student, is translating in a way that they are interested and they are curious. And if we shift our focus to the teachers, we want to create a more seamless experience for them. We want them to feel that they can focus on the educational side and less on the technical administrative side. And this is really where the education technologies come in and help teachers automate processes. If it's creating certain lessons, if it's automating grading, which can take a very long time and be very demanding. We also see a focus on classroom management. So helping the teacher see different assets in the classroom. If it's taking the data of class on Zoom and looking at when students were engaged, when students were not engaged, assessing better ways to hand over the lesson. A third focus that we also think is a global trend is really becoming more green and using less paper. And this is where EdTech also comes in to really provide a solution that does not require paper. It is all digital, it is accessible, easy to download, and greener for the environment. And the last two really focus on eliminating the guesswork, helping the teacher feel like they are guided and have a clear indication of what their students need, and assess in better ways. So this is just my last slide. The main verticals that we focus on in Israel is there's test, exam, and archiving. This means there's exam preparation solutions, solutions that help you assess testments, grade the tests. So this is one solution. Student engagement. So really there is a focus on creating more interaction in the classroom creating things that are more personalized and interesting for the students, using gamification. If it's giving points to students when they get an answer right and creating that fun intrigue and interaction with one another. STEM, which focuses on science studies, if it's chemistry, biology, language learning, and things like that. And lastly, program management. So as I mentioned about universities and their infrastructure, really enabling remote management, enabling schools to take control of their devices from afar and monitor their usage when studying virtually. Lastly, to kind of sum it up, the main 5 trends that we're seeing in 2022 and we believe will increase in the next decade is firstly gamification, so using AR and VR technologies to create more immersive classroom learning. It's more based on experience and helping the students really feel what they are learning, understand it in the most optimal ways. The second is data and AI for personalized learning. So we are seeing softwares that are being used in the classroom or being linked to Zoom that can help you read and understand when your student was listening, when they were commenting, when they turned off their camera, and this will help you understand their behavior and what kept them engaged. We have social learning, which really focuses on the more collaborative environment that teachers want to create using different digital platforms that enable project sharing and commenting, and workforce upskilling, which is very interesting because when you think of education technology, intuitively you would think that it's geared towards universities or school, but here it's really the enterprises are starting to onboard employees and see that this is a very urgent need to teach their employees how to do their job, to create community between the employees. And this is where education technologies are also being implemented. And lastly, student well-being. We are seeing a very sharp increase in depression and anxiety among students. So really using technology and helping teachers understand what their students are going through socially, what anxiety they're feeling in the classroom to help them become better students and learn optimally. So thank you everyone for listening. It's been a pleasure and I hope you have a wonderful event.
ブラフさん、ありがとうございました。Thank you very much. それでは、イスラエル企業のピッチへと移らせていただきたいと思います。まずはじめに、マグニラーンより、ハダル・アブラモビッチさん、よろしくお願いします。ハダルさん、floor is yours.
Hello, my name is Adal, and Magnilearn is here. Hello, my name is Adal, okay. Magnilearn is here to improve learning efficiency and to put our partners in the frontier of English language education. We are here to change the way students are learning today worldwide. Now I have a question for you. First, let's think about Japan. It's surprising to see that one of the fastest growing economies around the world, ranked number 3rd by GDP, ranked today 78 by English language proficiency. And now I have a personal question. What would it impact, how that will impact your life if I could tell you that we can teach 6 times faster and 2 times deeper? And let's think about it more deeply. How would that impact the life of your children and your loved ones if we could teach and learn everything 6 times faster and 2 times deeper? Now I can tell you that in Magnilearn, this is not a futuristic. It's something that is based on more than 12 years of academic research with more than 500K learning hours, and we are active already in 4 markets. We have thousands of students around Israel, Korea, Japan, and Thailand that are experiencing the hyper learning efficiency that I'm talking about today. None of this would not have happened without the team behind. The company would emerge from the Hebrew University of Jerusalem. Dr. Lana Tokus is the CEO and the co-founder of the company with a PhD in science education. Dr. Michal Etzion has a PhD in computer science, and she is our CTO, and Professor Ali Rapaport is leading the research and is a full-time professor at the Hebrew University of Jerusalem, running one of the top 10 natural language processing labs around the world. And myself, living in Asia for the past 8 years, doing businesses between Korea, Japan, and Israel. Let's dive deep into the technology and our main differentiators. First, we are here to solve real industry problems. No more lessons, same lessons for all. Magnilearn is bringing to the market 100% personalization. And when I'm talking about personalization, I'm not talking about lesson level personalization. I'm talking about the lowest, actually the highest personalization that technology is able to provide today. Personalization on the exercise level. Second thing, and one of the biggest problems in the market, is that the materials are not correlate with what we want to teach in school, at university, or at corporates. In Magnilearn, we do full curriculum integration to each and every school that we work with. And the third problem, parents, students, teachers, nobody know what's the real knowledge of the students. At Magnilearn, because the nature of the product, we know how to detect the strengths and the weaknesses of each and every student and to provide a detailed personal knowledge map to each one of our students. So how does it work? First, we took the English language and we divided into very, very small, tiny pieces, what we call the granular approach. We are able to differentiate not just between words, but between grammatical pattern and different expressions in the language and much more than that. This is the deep technology that I was mentioning in the beginning. The deep technology and the natural language processing algorithm allow us with 3 differentiation factors in our product. First, every exercise is tailored to a student. Second, exercises are free form. Students required to be active all the time. And the third, because of the granular approach and our understanding about the mistakes and the part of the answer that the student answered correctly, we are able to provide feedback for the students in real time and in their own native language, Japanese, for example. Let's take a bit more look at the technology of Magnilearn. Magnilearn is a deep tech technology. We're not just based on content, and this is why we can integrate and collaborate with every content-based company or every school, university, or corporates. What we do is that we create a knowledge map for each and every student that we work with. And now this is a game changer. We do not have pre-prepared lessons. What we have is a data pool. To this data pool, we can put every source of content that we want. It can be English textbook. It can be articles or materials that we want to teach the students. And in real time, the exercise construct real-time exercise to the students. The students compose the answer, receive a real-time feedback, and we update the knowledge map accordingly. Lessons are a sequence of exercises that are created in real time for each one of our learners. 2 lessons will never be the same. Second thing is a new approach in education. We are not exposing the students to any mistakes in our product. There are no multiple choice exercise. We have free-form based exercise that focus on learning efficiency and making sure that students are active all the time. We count effective time and not just login time. Based on the free-form exercise, when students actually write the answers by themselves, we are able to point out and to extract quality insights about each one of the learners. We can identify grammar difficulties, vocabulary, spelling, and skills that the students need to work harder in order to improve faster. We can report this data insight to the student themselves, to parents, and to teachers in a student level, class level, or corporates level in order to maximize learning efficiency. Another important thing is that we don't have binary result. It's not just correct or incorrect. What we do, as I mentioned, is a granular approach. When we divided the answer of the learner to the part of the answer where the student answered correct, and the part of the answer when the student answered incorrect. The part that the student answered incorrect, he will receive an automatic feedback in the system that it will be in the native language of each learner. Right now, thousands of students in Japan are learning on our platform, receiving real-time feedback messages in Japanese. Each market, we localize the feedback messages to the relevant market. Our unique product offering, we work with JUCO schools with K-12 focused from 5th grade and above, and now entering to elementary school. We offer full personalization on the exercise level, full curriculum integration to every school that we work with. And it's very simple because our content is very flexible. And we provide knowledge map and insight to every school to learn more about their students' learning patterns and the way that they're learning in order to maximize productivity and learning efficiency. For university and corporates, we have developed a unique agile AI-based exam that have correlation to CFR, TOEIC, TOEFL, and even ECAN exam. Results are in real time right after the 40 minutes test. And what we are providing to university and corporates is a package with a 40 minutes test, 3 months of learning. Now the learning is fully personalized based on the mistakes and what you didn't know in the exam in order to maximize improvement. 3 months after that, we will conduct one more exam and predict your score in TOEIC. To summarize a bit more about our numbers, this is an aggregate and accumulate information about the students who are learning on our platform. We can say that we teach much faster because we know exactly what you know and what you don't know. And we can focus on the curriculums and the goals or the textbook that we have defined together with you prior to learning. We can save time and learn the curriculum much faster. And we know how to improve proficiency, meaning that each one of the knowledge units that we are teaching, we know how to rank low, medium, and high proficiency. Make sure that you will cover it and practice it on the 4 skills: pronouncing the word correctly, writing the word correctly, understand it, and so on, and improve the learning proficiency of each one of these. These are the partners who are working with us. We are a partner of Microsoft and Microsoft for Startups. We have a strong partner in India. We are working with AIC Network Education in Japan. And we are working with universities and schools.
Hadaru-san, could you wrap up your presentation?
Yes, thank you. We invite all of you guys to be in the frontier of English language learning. Feel free to contact us for demo and for more information. Thank you very much and have a great event. Thank you.
ハダルさん、ありがとうございました。それでは次に、Wawiwaよりレア・マンスールさん、お願いします。レアさん、floor is yours.
Hello and good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for inviting me. I would like to present to you and introduce you to Wawiwa tech training. Our main activity is training into technology. Eran Lasser, who is the founder of Wawiwa, is an extremely busy guy. In the past 30 years, he has been involved in training over 50,000 people into tech jobs. Eran and myself met in the Israeli Defense Force more than 30 years ago, where we were both trainers, first trainees and then trainers in the main school of the Army for computers and technology. Since the inception of Wawiwa in 2.5 years ago, we have partnered with a number of companies globally in countries like Sri Lanka, Romania, Australia, Canada, Portugal, and France to introduce our solutions and help our partners set up training centers in their countries. Why are we at all dealing with technology training? I think that it is not a surprise to you that there is a huge shortage of people within the tech industry. The numbers are staggering. We're talking about 149 million employees that will be missing by 2025. This is a very, very large number. And actually, post-COVID, we see that the numbers of people required in the tech industry is just increasing. One of the problems that COVID have forced us is the need to move to technology, even in traditional industries. And I would say that there are two main industries that emerge out of COVID in a great shortage, in additional shortage of people. One is in the health industry, and this is quite understood after such a large crisis. But the tech industry is another one of them because of the move to technology that many industries needed to do during this social distancing period of time. The traditional place to study technology is usually the universities, and I'm sure that in Japan it is the same thing, but a university degree usually takes anywhere between 3 to 4 years. It's a long period of time, and a lot of time the learning that you're studying in the university is slightly remote from the needs of the industry. So what Wawiwa is doing, we help our partners to offer career-oriented programs focused on the job roles and to prepare the students to the work which awaits for them in the industry. I'm sure that I don't need to share this type of information with you. This is a research from Japan showing predictions of the amount of people which are going to be missing in the industry of IT in Japan itself. Manpower Group have also indicated in Japan specifically that the top 5 in-demand roles within HR and IT. By the way, so that Manpower came with a global research for 2022, putting IT and technology as #1 missing positions globally. So what we're trying to do is to bring the Israel, the startup nation, to the ecosystem around the globe. Wawiwa is using technologies and tech training methodology and advanced tech programs that bring the know-how, the accumulated know-how that was established in Israel in the past 40 or 50 years. So we can try and bridge the skills gap and reskill the ecosystem in your market. In the Israeli market, as Bracha indicated before, is it being EdTech or cyber or anything in technology? Technology in Israel is one of the biggest export and industries that we have, since we don't have a lot of mineral resources to supply. So the manpower is a big thing for us. What type of programs are we providing? We are providing job role programs, full stack development, front-end development, data analyst, data scientist, UI, UX, DevOps, all of these. What is mutual to all of these are job roles that you can find in the industry. So all our training is focused on employability and on positions which are required in the current industry. Most of our programs are aimed for entry-level individuals. We can help retrain people and reskill people within the workforce, or we can, of course, reskill people without any prior knowledge and help them become data analysts or full stack developer or whatever is the job role that they're looking for. Our programs runs anywhere between 250 to 450 academic hours. So these are relatively short, relatively to universities, these are short programs, but they're not really short programs. These are not 4 or 5 days type of training. What's unique about our programs is that they are designed as a hands-on practice. I know that it's very popular to talk about EdTech, and we're in an EdTech conference, but we are still believe in instructor-led training when it comes to training the workforce in technology. So all our programs are instructor-led, but they can be delivered in various formats, being online, remotely, or of course, face-to-face or hybrid. Everything is supported on a learning management system. All the materials is hosted, providing the students access wherever they are, and additional exercises whenever they have the time, but it is instructor-led program. The trainers that we're using are local trainers that are taking and from the industry. Our partners are responsible to find the local trainers. We help train the trainers, and we believe that experienced trainers can help the students, coupled with the hands-on exercise, to reach the level of expertise which are required for graduation. Our programs, as I said, are hands-on, and they include a lot of exercises, and I'm talking about a ratio of 30 to 70%. So 30% of it is teaching, 70% is exercise during the classroom, at home, or in various projects which are built over time for the duration of the program. We work very closely with the local industry in every market that we operate, because we believe that at the end of the day, it is important for us to understand the requirement of the industry and to ensure that our programs would meet the need of the specific industry in that market. We are making changes to the programs based on feedback that we receive from the industry in order to maximize, again, the employability of the graduates at the end of the program. We use a computerized assessment test that helps our candidates to determine if this type of training is the right training for them. Not everyone who wishes to be a developer can be a developer, but the assessment is helping us to determine before they join the program and to maximize their ability, their retention in the program, and lower the drop rate significantly. The programs can be run in various formats based on our partnership. It can run in a bootcamp style, which means a full day immersive program, or it can run in the afternoon on once a week or a few times per week as a part-time. Again, depend on our partners and the audience that they are targeting for. Well, we have made the first steps in Japan, and we partnered a few months ago with OrLab. It's a Japanese company specialized in providing tech training for corporates. And we're going to introduce our first program with them. The first program that we are introducing is the Data Analyst program. It's a 250 academic hours program that train an individual with some background or without any background to the role of a data analyst. Today, in every company, there is a lot of data. In traditional companies or technology companies, banks, financial institute, there's a lot of data, and the need to manipulate data and draw conclusions from a data becomes a very powerful business capability. Many corporates are sending their employees to upskill themselves in the world of data, and a data analyst program is a perfect program for that. Our training is divided into 5 units. We go through different technologies from data retrieval, data analyst, data visualization, data understanding, and of course, like any other program, there will be a final project to demonstrate the ability of the graduate to actually be a data analyst. The program is now being localized. We're talking about over 1,000 pages, 18 chapters. It will be hosted on a learning management system. You can see that we're working really hard to localize it, and we hope that in October.
Please wrap up your presentation.
Correct. And we hope that in October, we will be launching the first trial program. I thank you very much for listening. And if you're interested in more information, please go to our website or to our lab website, and we'll be happy to listen to your information. Thank you.
レアさん、ありがとうございました。それでは次に、INCEPTION XR のアリエル・ゲーバさん、よろしくお願いします。アリエルさん、the floor is yours. アリエルさん。
Good morning, everyone. Tell me when you see my slides.
Yes.
So we are Inception XR. We're an Israeli EdTech company started in 2016. Our vision is to transform education through immersive fun. So we all know that education has not changed a lot since the 1800s. So if you look at the class in the 1800s, big kids, tables, and a teacher, the same in the 60s and the same even in 2022. And even in the time of Zoom, it was just using another medium, but it was still a group of people listening to a teacher talking. And there's a huge experience gap between what the teachers see in the class and what they see in the gaming world when they go home. And we also that Zoom created terrible results. It has 30% rise in failing grades during the time of Zoom. And this leads to teachers leaving their jobs and unsatisfied from the jobs, and the kids are not engaged in the classroom. So Inception created a new language for education. We use rich 3D XR media, interactive activities, and gamification of the classes. And we all know XR is coming. We know there's the glasses coming out next year, over 3 billion enabled devices, and the industry is huge already. And very soon we will see XR and metaverse going away from the gaming world into other worlds like education. So Inception XR started its new language from Bookful. We created Bookful, which is the largest reading app with over 500 books. We took these books and turned them into 3D and interactive activities. And this, in turn, you can see an example. We're taking a book and turning it into a 3D environment. And another example of the book, how it looks like to the kids. So we have 500 books like that. And we work with the leading publishers like DK, Collins, Oxford University Press. And around each book, we created a variety of activities using AR. So you could do spelling, quizzing, enter the world of the book, a dance or a paint. And it works. Using a Bookful, kids spend read 17 books a month on average. They loved reading more, gain more from reading, and it was really loved by parents and kids. So this app has been used all over the world, both as a B2C app, but also as telcos adopted it. And it's very, very strong in APAC, by the way. We already launched this app in a white label with the China Telecom, LGU Plus, and also Singtel is doing well with this app. But now we're going to the next phase. So with Bookful, we took picture books and kids' books and turned them into experiences. Now we want also to transform study books and learning environments into interactive and immersive activities. So for example, if we're talking about workbooks, in this old workbook, you would look for things that were created by men or not. But with using Inception, you look for these in AR, you look for these figures using your phone or your iPad in an AR environment. So the boat is man-made. The bridge is man-made. And another example, kids learning about shapes. So you have to look for the spheres. You can do it in a paper or you can do it in an AR world. So what we created is a new language for education and a new experience. Maybe I'll show another one. So we take pages of books and turn them into experiences. And it's just not just pictures. We're already working with the leading publishers. We just announced a new product with Oxford University Press addressing preschoolers that will come out in 3 or 4 months. And we're already working, we probably have 2 or 3 apps with leading publishers by the end of the year. So in general, our platform allows publishers to take their old content and turn them into immersive and experiential activities and do it very fast. We use templates that were already created, experiences, and our technology to take old workbooks, old books, and turn them into experiences. Just some additional examples. We worked with LG. Our app was launched in Korea with LGU+. This is the work we've done with AT&T in the US. An example of an AR activity you can do with the books. You paint your own figure and then it goes live. What else do I want to show? Kids and parents love Bookful. And a variety of activities we have already done, explaining STEM activities. History classes. I will gladly share these slides later, as we have very little time.
Ariel-san,
One of our future products.
Could you wrap up your presentation?
Yeah. Sorry?
Could you wrap up your presentation?
Yeah. So I think what I want to say that what we're looking for is a cooperation, one with Japanese publishers or entities that teach students to take their materials and turn them into interactive activities and to engage students more in the future. Here's my contact, and we'll have to send more details and go on a call with anyone. Thank you.
Ariel-san, thank you very much. それでは次に、デジタルハリウッド大学大学院教授、佐藤昌宏先生より日本のEdTech、現状と可能性について、お話がございます。佐藤先生、お願いします。
はい、ありがとうございます。スライドシェア可能でしょうか。
はい。Ariel-san, could you close your slide?
Yeah, sure. Yeah. Sure. Thanks.
はい。よいしょ。Hi everyone, my name is Masahiro Sato. I'm professor at Digital Haliud University Graduate School. Since 2009, I've been researching and practicing EdTech in Japan. I'm also working as a committee member and advisor to the government on national education innovation and supporting EdTech startups in Japan. Today, I'd like to talk about the current event and the challenges of Japanese education innovation for Israeli EdTech startups. I would be very happy if Japanese EdTech could collaborate with Israel. However, as you can see, I'm not very good with English. From now on, I will give the presentation in Japanese. Okay. じゃあ、日本語でプレゼンさせていただきます。今のエドテック、日本のエドテックの今という形でお話したいと思います。ポイントだけお話します。大きなトピックスとしてですね、2019年の12月に、ギガスクール構想というのが始まりました。これは公教育の小中学生、全員ですね、1人1台のデバイスを配備しました。国費で配備しました。約1万人になります。21年には高校にも同様の措置を実施しました。で、学校の高速インターネット回線と、あとクラウドの環境整備も国費で行いました。事業総額は約6000億以上の、6000億円以上ですね、の措置を実施しました。で、目的はですね、いつでもどこでも誰でも学べる環境の提供と、一人一人に合った学び、個別最適化された学びの提供、アダプティブラーニングとかパーソナライズドラーニングとかっていうふうに言われていますが、そういった学びを目指しています。そしてデジタルテクノロジーを活用して創造的な学びをする。まさにSTEAM教育と呼ばれているような、STEM に映画、アートやリベラルアーツの A がついたアートですね。はい、そしてもう一つ、経済産業省が2019年からやっておりますけれども、EdTech 導入補助金というのを開始しており、年間30億円ほどの補助金を使って、EdTech スタートアップたちのですね、学校の導入支援を行っています。その他にも2021年デジタル庁というのが創設されたり、その中にも主に教育がですね、主要領域に設定されています。そして23年には子ども庁、子ども家庭庁というのが創設されます。で、これはEdTech にとって何を意味するのかというとですね、本当に大きな市場が開かれた、チャンス到来だと思っていただいて良いかと思います。ただ、注意しないといけないこともあります。で、日本のですね、日本の民間教育全体の市場は 2.5 兆円から3兆円というふうに言われています。民間教育ですね。で、国内のEdTechの市場については2500億円から約3000億円というふうに言われています。それほど僕は大きくないのかなというふうに感じているんですが、実はこの国と地方を合わせた、文教費と言われている国や地方がですね、教育にかけるお金が、実は毎年23兆円ほど使っております。これは教員の人件費や学校のファシリティとか全てのものを含めていますけれども、約10年以上ですね、この23兆円というのは変わらずに来ています。デジタル化がどんどん進んでいる社会にもかかわらず、変わらないということは、ほぼアナログで教育が提供されているというのが予想されるかなと思います。そこで、可能性と課題のお話をしたいと思います。まず可能性はですね、インフラや環境というのが整いました。次はというとですね、 どう使うか、そしてどう教育効果を出すかというところになります。つまり環境整備から教育データの利活用のフェーズに入ってきたと言ってもいいと思います。で、国内、CBT、メクビットというんですけれども、コンピューターベースドトレーニング、テスティングですね。そういったテストも開始しましたし、文科省でも、教育データ利活用の委員会が立ち上がり、データの標準化をどうするのかという議論が始まりました。総務省でも学校外の教育データの利活用、この学校外と学校内をいかに結びつけていくかという議論も開始されました。そして課題です。学校現場の課題はですね、たくさんあると思うんですけれども、一つ、公教育とビジネスの相性が悪いというふうに思っています。子どもたちをですね、ビジネスにするなという現場の思いがある。こういった声が出てくるということもありまして、これは子どもたちを大事にする先生方の思い、教育現場の方々の思いから来る言葉だと思うんですけれども、お金儲けにするなというような、そんな言葉も出てきます。それと IT リテラシーの不足というものも学校現場にはあるのかなというふうに思っています。また日本全体で言いますと、この DX が叫ばれていますけれども、人権とか個人情報とを入れるとですね、管理されるという意識がありまして、こういったものが少しアレルギーになっているような印象を受けています。また、昨今の、ロシア、ウクライナの問題も含めてですね、グローバリズムとナショナリズムが非常に語られることが多くなってきていますけれども、日本においても経済安全保障推進法という法律が通りまして、使えるテクノロジー、ツールやアプリケーションやコンテンツ、これが限られてきています。安全保障に影響のないサービスに限定されるということですね。そういった動きが出てきていますので、EdTech、イノベーションにとって少し、マイナスな影響かなというふうに思っています。日本にとってちょっと足りないというのはもしかしたらこれかもしれないと思っています。これはOECD のレポートからの、インドのレポートからの抜粋なんですけれども、この完璧さはより良い道の敵であるというですね、日本はどうしても完璧を求めているというところもあります。もちろんその対象が子供であるということも大きな原因ではあるんですけれども、もう少しアジャイル型のイノベーションといいますか、やってみて、どんどんトライをしてみて、失敗を重ねながら成功に行き着くということも大事かなというふうに思っています。日本はですね、歴史的に黒船というのが来て、海外の大きなテクノロジーが来て、イノベーションが推進したというところがあります。ぜひイスラエルの皆さんもですね、日本の黒船になっていただければなと思っております。以上です。ありがとうございます。
佐藤先生、ありがとうございました。それでは、またイスラエル企業のピッチへと移らせていただきたいと思います。スピークより、ヨセフ・ヤディードさん、よろしくお願いします。ヨセフさん、floor is yours.
All right. Thank you very much for having me here today. My name is Yosef Yadid. I am the head of business development at Speak Now. Speak Now is an English AI assessment dealing with the ability to assess English not only from an educational point of view, but also from a workforce point of view. Going back to really what the problem is today and where Speak Now believes that it can answer is that as of today, universities, college, companies, they really need to employ candidates who can communicate effectively in English. Okay, as you can see on the slide, I don't really want to read to you what you're seeing in front, but what's most important to me is that this is only available to those that have the privilege or have the accessibility to learn English. If it's a TOEFL exam, an IELTS exam, in Japan specifically, you have the TOEIC, the Benesse, the GTEC exam I'm quite familiar with when it comes to workforce or education. So bottom line, what we've created here is a 10-minute per section. So that means around 35 minutes for a 4-skill exam, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, and AI-powered assessment solution. The entire point of the exam is to allow a 24/7 assessment that can be taken from anywhere around the world, not limiting if you're from a rural neighborhood or if you're somewhere where you can't afford actually to take an examination. So what we are aimed at effectively adding is really creating a system where benchmarking and progress tracking, both from teacher to student. We have been using a few application cases with the government of Panama. Right now, we just closed a bid for the entire teacher staff for the Panamanian government. And this is dealing with just making sure that the teachers are of the needed level to teach. Okay, so right now what we can see here is in regards to time. Time is something that is so valuable to us, and especially when it comes to children and budgets, etc. We're looking at something that the entire world is reaching a new understanding with the COVID-19 outbreak. The exam is 100% CEFR aligned. There is information that can be provided comparing it to TOEFL, IELTS, and any other grade system that we've really created. So it's a very clear Richter that you are able to see what we supply and what we don't. So the CEFR is, for those that aren't familiar, is the Common European Framework of Reference of Language. So moving forward, as of today, we actually began in the HR and recruiting industry. We began in 2017. We started working with major firms such as EY, Telview is one of the largest work placement companies in India, etc. And we saw ourselves leaning towards what was considered higher education, institutional schools, to even, we had many private institutions reaching out to us. And what we understood is that the need is so high and the accessibility is so low. So what can we do? Because bottom line, also many institutions are looking to say, what's the step after? So what Speak is here to really provide you with is to understand the difference between those standardized long examinations that exist today and what can you create in a very short period of time in a very low budget and supply all your students on any given scale and say, okay, where do we need to work? Where is my institution lacking? Because what's important to understand here, it's not only to say, okay, here is a C1 or a B2 grade for any students actually taking the exam. What is important to see is that is the institution providing what is necessary to have your country, your city, your region on the map when it comes to the standard of work that they're providing. As many of us know, English is the global language of business. Obviously, in each given country, you can find a mix. You can find countries that only work in their native tongue. But what I have seen all across the board, from corporate to K through 12 to higher education, is that every company is looking to represent themselves at the highest quality of standard. And to do so, sometimes that comes with costs that the budget does not exist. So what we really did try to do right now is a few awards here that we've won in the past and articles about Speak. But what is super important here is really to understand the team that was created here. So our CEO and CTO, head of product, is really a technological expert coming from the personality realms back around 10, 15 years ago when people were unfamiliar that you could read personality traits off Facebook, off all these social media. So our CEO really came from that realm. Right now, most importantly, we also have our CEO and co-founder, also an amazing fellow dealing mostly with the international business development scene. But right here, what I really want to discuss here is who's sitting behind the technology. I've seen such brilliant minds presenting here today. And what makes the Israeli technological scene different than the other countries that are presenting to you, the other solutions that you may find all across the world. And the reason being that it's not only an application of technology, but it's truly the people that are providing those Richters, those levels that a system must be held to. So really our Chief of Language and Research Officer is Dr. Elizabeth Levy. She received her PhD at the University of Pennsylvania. And everything that the exam has been built on has been according to a very, very strict level of quality to be able to provide the most valid, authentic, quick response and accurate examination that we can on the market. I really do want to go back to a few major points that I have here, is in the sense that when it comes to any sort of English examination, what are we looking to achieve? We're looking to find out that the candidates or students are receiving the proper curriculum education from a curriculum point of view. So Speak has 100% API customizability, meaning that we don't only have to have the exam on our servers. We work with many, many partners where we apply it actually into a school's LMS program, a learning management system. And what we do is we allow them to focus. Let's say, for example, if we were working with a technological school that deals mostly with, as we saw earlier today, with data analyst positions or something from computer science, etc. Although we are only focused on the English proficiency of such capabilities, the information, and we customize the questions based off such to be able to give the most personalized aspect and making sure that the person presenting really is giving a CEFR aligned score report, which is basically the complete understanding if right now someone needs to work on a pronunciation, vocabulary. When it comes to the specific styles, it's not to just give a grade, it's to truly understand where exactly is the aspects that I need to work as an institution, where I need to work as a teacher to provide my students with the most valuable information. Because I am a firm believer that even if we give all the students around the globe their specific level from an English proficiency to any other skill, it is largely upon the people that provide the administration of this exam, meaning the institution that they are learning it, for them to be able to achieve this. So right now we are strongly looking to expand specifically in the Japanese market. We have seen quite a bit of exposure in Southeast Asia. If we're looking at Malaysia, India, we have had great success in the Latin America region due to cost effectiveness. In Latam, the GDP is significantly lower than that of Japan and other countries in the region. So therefore, we're really going for that accessibility factor. But this is not to say that there is anything that touches the quality of value that it can supply in these given markets. And it's something that we are still proving day by day, year by year. And we are now 5 years in the market as starting as a workforce solution and really weaning our way into the education technology sector and doing everything we can to supply the highest level of educational support that we can. I know that I'm around 2 minutes short or something like that, but if anybody has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer. But from a presentation point of view, this is our website if anyone would like to see. Thank you very much, Seguro.
Thank you very much, ヨセフさん。それでは次に、PureSight よりオズ・コルンバウムさん、お願いします。オズさん、floor is yours.
ありがとうございます、Seguroさん。Hi everyone, and today I just want to share my presentation. Can you see my presentation?
Yes.
Today I want to discuss with you one of the most disturbing topic in our area. This is a new digital life for our children create also new problems. And what we do in PureSight, we help parents protect children on the digital life all over the world. Cyberbullying, suicide, ransom, easy money, online digital trends on TikTok, Instagram, WhatsApp, Line, Facebook. It's only a part of our the new area that we now experience. And we're here to provide a solution that help parents and school protect children on the digital world. So my name is Oz, I'm the VP Sales of PureSight, and we're here to present you practical tools for digital parenting. There is a new market today that's called digital parenting, or that we like to call it online child safety. Until now, if we have the internet start to evolve and evolve, and children become addicted to social media, internet, and media. And with it, there is a lot of dangerous that we see a clear path from cyberbullying on the digital world affect actual us the children on the real world. And we see a huge correlation between those two. And what we see here, that there is no tools today that help parents deal with these dilemmas. What's happened today that we see parents use tablet for children at the age of 3 and phone at the age of 7. We help parents protect children all over the world, and we coming from the telecom market when we actually help telecom companies grow their value by using those kind of services to protect their children on the digital world. We're using AI and machine learning to identify dangerous trends that happen online on social media and alert parents in real time in a case of a cyberbullying, suicide, ransom, boycott, pedophile that trying to talk with your child, dangerous TikTok trends, and under wonderful, I'm joking, thing that the net have to offer to us. So we're here to help parents provide tools to understand, first of all, the digital life of his child, because we know that children in average spend 6 hours a day in front of the digital life. And we're here to provide a parent a dashboard that will be able to actually manage all the digital life and understand what their child interests, what they do, how much they sell, what is their favorite application that they're using, and also be aware of the interaction on the digital world. I want to talk about data in Japan market. So today we realize that in elementary school, 43% of the children use phones in those days, and 84% in middle and high school or middle school using phones. Parenting has never been easy, but what we see here that we're speaking about elementary school is 4 hours per day minimum. There is no supervision on the online. And we see a huge correlation between cyberbullying on the digital platform that lead to suicide on real life. What we provide is practical tools for digital parenting to help fight with phenomena. Being bullied, yes, it's happened on this area to 1 out of 3 children. And what we see here that 82% for most of the bullying out at school. We understand what's happened usually at the class with the boycott, the laughing, everything has become digital. And what's happened today, that they became to school and blamed school, and today the school don't have the tools to deal with those kind of dilemmas. Not only this, the school don't have any data on the children on each grade. Very, very simple questions like, what is their favorite website? What is their favorite application? How much time in average they surf on each application and which website? What is their interest in each grade and why? What is influenced them the most? What is the language that they speak in each class? How many cyberbullying event or attempt to suicide in each class? The school don't have any tools at all to deal with the digital problem today that the kids are suffering. What we can see here is actually the correlation of the digital world and the increase of suicide on cyberbullying. And we're here to provide an innovative solution, how to help parents and school and the municipal level to fight cyberbullying and suicide phenomena in Japan. What we provide here is, first of all, a dashboard. Until now, what we did is provide a dashboard and one application on the child on the child phone to monitor all the social media activities using AI and machine learning and alert parent on dangerous trends or cyberbullying event that require their involvement. Like here, as we can see, we have, for example, the parent dashboard, and I can see all the communication that's going through, like I'm home alone, where are you, I hate you, and all the content that's required the parent attention. Also, we support today WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Viber, but as I mentioned, different market, different needs. And what did we do? We manufacture online child safety solution. We also soon going to support learning, and we can support the Japanese language, not only in the UI and the UX, but also the content in a period of 3 months and be ready to release PureSight Japan, the best detection of cyberbullying and suicide events. So today, what we have is an application on the child phone that monitor all the activities, and dashboard on the parent phone that be able to present all the social media events that required their involvement. But not only this, also the ability to actually block and limit application and use times for different application, not only on Android, but it's across platform, Android, iOS, and PC. We provide also to filter web content according to the parent's policy and also classify web pages using AI according to the child age. So actually, maybe if parents don't want that the child will see cigarettes or gambling, he can actually block this category and actually create a safe environment for surfing for children. Also, we have the ability to create what we call it geofence notification. When my child is reach school, the first motivation to buy the phone is actually, I want to know that he gets school. I want to know where he is. Very easy, you will understand that it's work only one direction. When he will call you, even if in the middle of the meeting, you will go out and ask what's going on. But vice versa, it's not working this way. It's not all the time will answer the phone. And what we provide here, the ability to do check-in and check-out alert when he gets school, grammar, and other places that we define. Our core technology today is actually combined from two out-of-the-box technology. One is using a machine learning engine to classify the digital message communication, what we call it ACI, active chat inspection. This provides us the ability to use deep text analysis machine learning to identify events that require parents' involvement. Cyberbullying, suicide, ransom, alcohol, drugs, porn, and other things that the net has to offer to us. Also, we have the ability to use what we call it artificial content recognition. This is an algorithm to classify web pages according to the child age. We have the ability to read the web pages and classify it according to the child age policy. AI and machine learning, this is one thing, but this is not enough. In parallel, what we need to do is update those engines with knowledge. So one side, we deal with the technology to identify those trends, but the other side is to create PureSight Japan lab. In this lab, we have two main categories that we want to deal. One is looking for all the dangerous trends that are influencers spreading through social media, TikTok, Line, Instagram, and other applications, and identify those trends that our kids are looking by using hashtags and all the wonders that we see here. By the way, Squid Game create us a lot of work, because what's happened that after that children looking at those games that they play, they want to play it and imitate those games. We actually alert parents, be careful, this is new things. The influencer, we're speaking about more than 500,000 followers, will be able to spread those kinds of dangerous trends, and you should be more aware of. So this is one, creating a lab that look for all the dangerous trends that happen online and also application. But in parallel, we need to understand another thing, that the language that the children are using today, it's the digital language. And we also need to support not only in the UI and UX, but also the language and the digital language. It's not the written language, it's not the spoken language, it's the digital language. And our lab also look for all the new trends and new slang in order to update our knowledge base, to be able to detect those, what we call it, field derivation technique, and alert parents in real time on those kinds of events. Now,
please wrap up your presentation. Thank you.
Since we also have a POC now, as I mentioned, in Japanese, and we have a lot of interest on the Japan market, specific on the Japan market, I will be happy to share more information with you. The concept that we want to do here is a combination between teacher, parents, and students to fight cyberbullying events. How we're going to do this? It's very easy. Install application on the child mobile phone, register per school and class, and activate the cyberbullying protection, screen time management, and school check-in and check-out alerts. By doing this, we will be able to share, the school will have an anonymous dashboard because also the data of the privacy of each and every student. And by doing this, we will be able to measure and answer more questions and get more data about our digital life of our children. Also, the parents have the ability to send to school and certain event in order that we deal. So what we have here is, first of all, the ability to detect social media events and also use the detection with our research lab, alert parents and protection of the institute itself. And after that, what we call it, we need the follow-up with this, but it's digital education. The ability to use digital education in order to help parents and help children and educate them how to use on the digital world. Thank you very much for your time.
小津さん、ありがとうございました。Thank you very much. イスラエル企業のピッチは以上です。本日登壇いたしました、企業との1対1の B2B ミーティングをご希望の方は、弊部の方にご連絡ください。この後、アンケートがございますので、そちらの方にもご協力ください。企業への質問などがある方は、そちらの方にお書きください。今後も様々なテーマにてオンラインイベントを企画しておりますので、弊部ウェブサイトの方もぜひご覧ください。これにて当ウェビナーを終了とさせていただきます。本日はご清聴いただき誠にありがとうございました。